What's up? This is Josh, also known as I Have Only Me. In the past 3 weeks of my life, I've noticed America do some pretty stupid shit that I feel I need to share with the rest of the world. This is called the obese, the lazy, and the idiotic. This starts off about 3 weeks ago when I take a trip to Walmart. As I'm going down the aisles, I take a look to my left and I notice a man on his cell phone is set. Nothing wrong with that, right? Just a simple phone call, until I notice the fact he's trying to pull a mirror off a shelf. And he's not trying to pull any mirror off the shelf, he's trying to pull a middle mirror off a stack of 3. And as I'm watching him, I see this top mirror slowly starting to slide off, and I stop and I ask myself, should I do a good deed for the day and help the man, or should I let him learn his lesson for being a dipshit and trying to use a cell phone while getting a mirror off the shelf? I let him learn his lesson, and sure enough, after about a minute or two, that top mirror slid off and shattered all over the floor. At that point, the man slowly backed up, and he turned around and he took off like nothing happened. Well, I continue on with my day, and as I'm standing waiting in line to get checked out, I start looking around me and I see this woman is checking out a couple. Well, for those of you that have ever made it to a Walmart, you know that when you go to purchase, say, an R-rated movie, it asks, is the customer 17 or older? Well, when this woman was checking out a couple, she scanned a 6-pack of mini soda. When she scanned that soda, it asked, is the customer under 40? Apparently, you're not allowed to purchase soda over the age of 40 at Walmart anymore. At that point, I don't think America can get any more idiotic that day until I get to my truck and I'm proven wrong. As I'm loading groceries into my truck, I take a look over and I see this obese couple loading groceries in their vehicle. Now, when I say obese, I'm talking a good 300 pounds each. They have a shopping cart filled to the rim of groceries, and they still managed to fit their Mountain Dew into that shopping cart. They took 6 packs of 24-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew, and they had it draped over the edge of the cart, and it was lining the cart. You know you're fat and have done way too much shopping in your life when you can fit your Mountain Dew into a full shopping cart. Well, that concludes my trip to Walmart. Now we're going to talk about my job a little bit. First, we're going to be covering some of the customers. This first customer, this lady is legendary at the call center I work in. This lady calls about once a month looking for a movie called Little House on the Prairie, a movie that hasn't been on TV in about 2 years. This lady is so crazy, she has a social worker that calls in repeatedly asking us not to talk to this lady unless her social worker is on the phone. Well, one day the lady calls in and she's unsupervised, and she's screaming into the phone because she has an upside down burning cross on her screen and it's telling her to kill her son. After about 5 or 10 minutes of her screaming, the agent that was talking to her had to hang up the call. Now we're going to talk about this man who is setting up a brand new installation in his home. On the same day our technician was supposed to go out and install this service, this man called us up to report that the technician had not shown up yet. At the same time, our technician called us to inform us the customer had locked our technician in the basement because the customer thought our technician was the Antichrist. We had to call the police and get the police over there to let our technician out because the customer wouldn't let him out. Now this next call I had the personal privilege of listening to. This man called in because he had a giant squirrel on his dish and he wanted to shoot the giant squirrel because it would provide him with a week of food. It took us about 15 to 20 minutes of talking to the man to convince him it was not a giant squirrel, it was our technician that was sent out to repair the dish that he requested. Well, now we're going to talk about some of my coworkers. This first coworker, I work pretty close to her. I don't work directly with her, I just work near her. As I'm walking by her, I notice her talking to a friend, and she says to her friend, I look fat today. Well, no shit. You weigh about 280 pounds. You're fat. Now, I don't mean to be mean, but this is the type of girl that goes to McDonald's, orders a Big Mac meal large size with the Diet Coke, and then sits there and complains about the calories she's taking in as she's eating it. I'm sorry, you can't order a Big Mac meal large size and complain about the calories as you're eating it. It just doesn't work that way. Now we've got my personal friend Jake. There was one day at work where he had the shits, and while at work he asked if he can put a customer on hold so he can go to the bathroom. I'm sorry, you don't tell a customer you're going to put him on hold to go take a shit. You tell him, I'm going to put you on hold while I go research this issue for you. No, he told him he was going to go put him on hold so he can go to the bathroom. Well, this next story I'm going to tell you about, this you can actually find on Google. Just Google Missouri satellite shooting and you'll find plenty of articles about it. This man was installing a new satellite service into his home and he could not get his drill to go through a wall. So he took a .22 caliber gun, shot two bullets through the wall, and in the process killed his wife. Well, as of April 9th, it was released that the man was let go because he was innocent because it was an accident. Now here's the funny thing. It wasn't the first bullet that killed her. The first bullet didn't even go near her. It was the second bullet, and the second bullet caught her square in the chest. Now this is how I imagine going down in my mind. This man is sitting there trying to drill a hole in the wall, and his wife's sitting there complaining, honey, it's too small, it just won't fit. And he says, fuck, I hate hearing that. and he shoots a hole in the wall. And then she says, "What the hell is that?" And he says, "There you are." Well, that concludes my bit on the obese, the lazy, and the idiotic. I hope you've taken some lessons. Use that gift that God gave you. It's called a brain. There's a reason school is required. Here in Montana, it's required until you're 16. I personally think school should be required until you're 18 or until you graduate. And next time you feel like grabbing your keys and going to McDonald's for that Big Mac meal, grab a carrot. It's healthy for you, and it's good for your eyes. Peace.